friends, I am starting a new reading vlog for Reboot My Reading Year. If you're not sure what that is, I will link the video explaining it below, and it's basically where I'm trying to find a 5-star read. My reading this year has not been the best. I think I maybe had a couple of 5-star books, and I've read about 70 books. I don't know if it's me or I'm just not, maybe my taste is changing and I just don't realize it yet. Anyway, I am going to be reading some books that I randomly scrolled some of my social media and saw. I decided like the first book I saw that I owned while scrolling social media, I would read. So the first book that I'm going to read, that I've already started reading actually, is Angels at the Gate by Sherry Joseph. This is a local author to me, and when I was scrolling Instagram, I saw that they were doing an event with her. I think it actually happened last night from when I'm filming. I knew I wouldn't be able to read it in time to go yesterday, and this is actually already a signed copy. So I got this from my one of my local indie bookstores during the independent bookstore crawl that I did the week of Thanksgiving. The book is about a university student dies, and a woman or another student who is kind of learning some things about the student who died, his roommate, that are a bit concerning and may be related to the death of the student. There's a fraternity involved. It's an isolated university. So it all sounds really good to me, and I'm already enjoying it. Writing style is definitely working for me. I am currently just chilling out in the middle of Vlogmas. So I've been doing videos every night. I am going to do a video tonight. I'm going to put it together, but I'm about to do Patreon reading sprints with Becca from Becca Books and Bujo. That's going to help me stay focused on reading, because there's a lot of stuff that I can get lost in right now. So yeah, let's see if we can find a 5-star. Really want to finish out the year strong. Update on the reading vlog. I am still reading Angels at the Gate by Sherry Joseph. I am enjoying it. It's just, it was a physical read, and I'm not reading that much physically. However, this morning, I thought, let me just check again and make sure that I can't find an audiobook, because sometimes if you search by the author, you can find it better than searching by the title. I don't remember if I must have searched by the title, and then it brings up just a lot of randomness that meets some of the words of the title. Y'all, I found an audiobook for this book. I found one on Hoopla. Yay! Because like I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm just not focused enough to read it. And I don't know that that's going to improve at all through the rest of 2025. Today is December 21st. Happy winter solstice. It's a great day to sit inside and read or pack for trips, because that's what I'm about to do. is leave tomorrow for my road trip. It is raining outside. I'm doing laundry, and I'm going to be cleaning today. So the only thing with getting an audiobook for this is I need to get to the end of a chapter. I was almost done with a chapter last night when I was reading, but I got really tired and read the same paragraph multiple times. So that's when you know it's time to put the bookmark in the book and go to sleep. So I'm going to read the rest of this chapter physically and then switch to the audiobook and do a little cleaning. Let's go. Little bit of an update. I did make it to my sister's house, and I am currently uploading a video for Vlogmas, which is the noise. And of course, right when I start filming, the heat's gonna go on too. But I did want to update. I finished Angels at the Gate by Sherry Joseph. So it took me 2 weeks to read the first, 10 chapters or so. And then when I found the audiobook, I finished it in 24 hours. Yeah. So I will wrap it up at the end of the vlog. I am at my sister's for Christmas, and tomorrow we kind of have a little tradition that we go to Target for my nephew. He and I kind of have our tradition of going to Target so he can pick out a toy, and I give him a gift card and he can figure it out himself. And then we go to my favorite bookstore in Cincinnati. So we're going to do that tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to read. I'm going to start reading this. I think I mentioned that I was starting to read this, which I haven't yet, because I kind of became obsessed with this book, and obsession is a good word to use with this book, and we'll talk more about that. But yeah, I'm gonna get into Awake by Jen Hatmaker, and I will update you later. So I went to Barnes & Noble. Online, they're having their 50% off hardbacks. Not all hardbacks, unfortunately, but a lot of them. And I went ahead and went because I did need a planner, and I also wanted to just see some of the hardbacks in person. I did find a planner. I wanted a planner that has weekly and monthly, and also would fit in kind of a, you know, medium-sized purse. For some reason, and maybe this is just me, that I haven't noticed this before, I used to always want a student year, you know, from like August to July or August to August or whatever. And I could never find them. And now that's all they had there. I don't know why, because it's not, the Barnes & Noble I went to is not specifically near a college, so I don't really know. Anyway, this has weekly, and then it also has a monthly layout, which is what I like. For planning, life stuff, health stuff, getting treatments, booktube stuff, travel plans, those kind of things will go in here. So there's that. I did get to, so when I went, there was no, all the signage was 25% off the whole store, which is the current sale going on. But the, I asked someone, because online there's 50% off some hardbacks, and he said that those are still, that those are current, and they would honor the price because it didn't ring up. One of the ones I got is a NetGalley book for me, but also I want to, I read a little bit of it in the store, and I've read a little bit of it on NetGalley as well, and I really liked the writing, and that's The Manor of Dreams by Christina Lee. This is about, there's a woman named Vivian Yin who has died and left her mansion to an estranged part of her family, and the family that wasn't estranged is kind of confused. And so then the estranged family goes to live in it, and weird things start happening. So all about haunted house or something like that. I've never read from this author before. Oh, this is her debut. That's probably why I've never read from her before, but it sounded really interesting. I also got this because I've heard a lot of good things about this. This is Brightly Shining by Inville Ryshow. I don't know how to say that very well, but the cover is stunning. And this is about a father, it's Norwegian, Christmas tale of sisterhood, financial hardship, and far-off dreams. So the father works at a Christmas tree stand in Oslo, and the two daughters think that he is going to lose the job because he goes to drink at a bar. And I think one of the daughters takes over his job at the Christmas tree stand. So it's very short, but it seems like it's could be a really sweet story. So I hope to read this one pretty soon. And then the one that was only 25% off was Stoneyard Devotional by Charlotte Wood. I've gotten this out from the library a few times, and I really like what I've read, which hasn't been much, but it never has very long of a hold or long period for checkout because people are still lined up for it. So I went ahead and got a copy of it. And that was all I got at Barnes & Noble. So that was my haul. I do want to update. So just a quick update on books. I read Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I don't think I updated you at all on this, maybe that I started it. I listened to it on audio while I was doing puzzles at my sister's house. As you can see, I'm home. But I did listen to it while I was doing puzzles, and it is the story of Rocky and her husband and her kids, 2 kids, and it also, we meet her parents as well. And if you'll remember, I read Wreck, which is the second book in this series. Sandwich is the first. I read Wreck last month for my in-person book club, and I'll link my review of that below. Really liked it, really liked the characters, and just the messiness of a family dealing with grief and middle-aged parents and kids as adults learning and making their own decisions. There's also mental health rep in this series, and I thought it was fairly well done. This is basically just going back a few years into Rocky's life. She is the mom. She has the 2 kids. We do get kind of a look at the son and his wife, who they're married in the second book. So you kind of learn a little bit about their relationship. But it's basically this house that they rent or have rented for years at the beach, and their last vacation of all of them there. And Rocky's mom and dad come, and just kind of, you get to know their personalities. You also get to learn about some of the past, and Rocky as a mother. And I really feel like this is a good look at motherhood. I say that as someone who's not a mother. I would imagine that, you know, the early life of a mother, early years as a mother, could be relatable, kind of losing any sense of identity because your kids are constantly someone's hanging off of you. And there is discussions of pregnancy loss in here as well that, I don't know, they were kind of left me unsettled. They weren't unsettling to read, but they left me feeling unsettled. I don't know if that was the intent of the author, just the way that she handled it. But just be forewarned if you're going to read it. Now, I, for years, wanted to find books with older protagonists, older female main characters, and this is a great series, even though the life of Rocky is totally different than mine in my 40s. I really like how Catherine Newman is writing this character. I think Catherine Newman is an author that I will enjoy, and that I hope to read more of her work. Wait till the end to find out what I rated it. But yeah, that was a really good one. And like I said, I listened to the audiobook. And the audiobook, which I listened to the audiobook of Wreck, and it was very good as well. I am currently listening to Awake by Jen Hatmaker. This is her memoir of after her divorce. Jen was a writer and teacher in evangelical Christian churches, and when the pandemic started, her marriage kind of fell apart, and she jumps back and forth, time and perspective, mainly from, you know, her early years as a child and what she was raised, how she was raised in, what kind of parenting. Her parents kind of observed, and also how that work, moved along in her life. And she got married really young to her husband, and pastor's wife kind of thing, perspective that she has in the early years as well, remembering the early years. Currently listening to the audiobook, and I like it. I'm halfway through, and I was fortunate enough to see Jen Hatmaker in person talk about this. So I was prepared. I've never read Jen Hatmaker before, but I was prepared. She's very outgoing personality and very funny. And because I saw her in person, I was definitely prepared for the audiobook. She reads herself. So I was prepared for kind of, it feels very boisterous and sometimes loud, sometimes gut-wrenching, but I am enjoying it. So that's where I'm at with reading. That's where I'm at with book hauls. I have one more book on the way, and that's it. That is it. The book that's on the way is for my book club for Chris at Books and Jams for January. We're reading The Correspondent by Virginia Evans, and the wait at my library, at one library, for the audiobook is $700. At the second library, it's $400. And for the print copies, even the large print edition is 100 people. So I don't think I would be able to get that in the time that I need to read it. So I did find a book on Pango that I got, because I also had sold some books on Pango. So that was basically a free book, I guess. So I should be getting that. It's already shipped. So hopefully I'll get that in a couple days and can show you before the vlog is over. Today is Sunday, December 28th. I got back on the 26th and have just really been exhausted. I've gone to a few places, the after Christmas sales, and other than that, I really haven't done anything. I'm really tired. So I am off this next week as well. And so I don't really plan to do much besides rest and get ready for the new school year, because that starts in January for us at my work. So okay, so I finished reading Awake by Jen Hatmaker. I finished the audiobook. I don't remember if I came on and said anything about it, but I'm done, and it's time to talk about these three books. And we'll start with Awake since it's the freshest in my mind. I read this. So for this vlog, I read books that I randomly saw people talking about on social media in different ways. And my friend Melinda at A Web of Stories had put this on her Storygraph or GoodReads that she was reading it, and I owned it. So this got picked for the vlog. And I really liked this. I think definitely helped that I had the perspective of attending the Jen Hatmaker event at the book festival that I went to, and hearing her talk about it was, I think, a great intro And I say that mainly because I did listen to the audiobook of this, and Jen reads it herself. And I think some of her delivery of parts of this could be seen as making light of a difficult situation, while it is making light of a difficult situation. And it really just depends on where the reader is and how that is absorbed. And for me, I had already heard Jen talk about it, so that helped with the delivery of the audiobook. This is about Jen. She is a Christian leader, writer. Her husband's a pastor. They've been married for 20-something years. They have 5 kids. And she finds out her husband's having an affair and they get divorced. That's just not something that you expect from pastors, even though it happens all the time. But they were really in the spotlight when this happened. And Jen is very clear that she is telling her side of the story, and how she received news, comments from everybody and their mother when this story broke. And also the fact that the story was really contained a lot because of it happened in the pandemic. However, a journalist broke the story publicly, and that kind of caused some repercussions for Jen, just that living in the public eye, and something so traumatic as the end of a 25+ year marriage. And this story is it's definitely about resilience, which Jen Hatmaker has talked about with the book as well. It's about grief, grieving the life that she thought she was living and that the future that she thought she would have. It's grief for the kids and what they're experiencing. She really doesn't go into specifics of the kids, which I have a lot of respect for. Her kids are in their 20s and teens, and she really comes from a perspective of that's not my story to tell. But she does talk about some of the hard things about parenting in the middle of a divorce. And it was heartbreaking. And I thought, she addresses the reaction of the church and other fellow Christians, if they support her or not, and also like the reaction of her family, which is a very devout Christian family. I think her dad's a pastor, and kind of all of what she grew up thinking marriage is for life. She's surrounded by people who are married for life, but also some of the things that young people are told and encouraged by the church when they're 19, 20 years old. So I really like this, and I really liked the style of it. They're just really short chapters about different kind of scenes in all of it. And there's some flashbacks, of course, and then there's also talk of her relationships. And I think besides the family relationships, the relationships of her and her friends, her girlfriends specifically, I just love that. I loved that. Having girlfriends it's invaluable. It's just an amazing experience. And I think Jen captured that really well. Did I give it 5 stars? I didn't give it 5 stars. I gave it 4 stars. Mainly there's some stylistic choices that Jen made as a writer that I didn't love. But that's it. Like, the story is her story. And I know a lot of people don't rate memoirs, especially memoirs. I do, just to give a rating on my experience reading it. So 4-star, highly recommend. I also read Sandwich by Catherine Newman, which is the first in, I don't even know what they're calling this, but if there's a name for the series. Is there a name for the series? I don't know. This is about Rocky and her family. They go to a annual beach rental house. They go to their beach rental house annually. And it's the experience that Rocky is having this kind of last hurrah thing with her adult children. One of them has a partner that's there, and then Rocky's parents. And I read Wreck first, which is the second in the series, because it was a book club book. And I would recommend reading them in the order. Read Sandwich first and then Wreck. Do I think that I lost out on anything? No, not really. I probably like Wreck better just because it was a little messier. Sandwich is really looking at Rocky's experience as a young mother. There's a lot of time focused on how she kind of is assessing herself and her experiences as a young mother and a young wife. But I do really like this series and will continue. I want to read more from this author as well. I did not give it 5 stars. I gave it 4 stars. Still a great book. And then the other book I read is Angels at the Gate by Sherry Joseph. I read this physically, and then when I was on my road trip, I actually found the audiobook on my library's Hoopla. So I was able to listen to the rest of this on my way to my sister's. And this is about a friend group at an isolated, pretty elite university. And one of the friend group dies. And the story is really looking at the friendships, also the sororities, fraternities, secret societies, just all of that, deep, dark secrets, a lot of alcohol, typical, 18 to 22-year-old stuff going on, relationships, who loves who, all that kind of stuff is going on. It's actually set in the 80s, I think. Yeah, the 80s. So I didn't grow up in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. Early 2000s was probably that age range for me. But it was very interesting. And the main character, Leah, is like the scholarship kid and has a really challenging family situation. She just, the bad decisions that she makes, that you just want to go back and wake her up and, help her make better decisions. It's kind of like, would you go back to being 20, but with the knowledge that you have at 40? Wouldn't we all love that? We might end up in different places, which, pros and cons. However, this writer is really good. Really good. She's a local author, Sherry Joseph. And y'all, I gave it 5 stars. I did. I loved it. This is totally a me book. Dark academia, the interrelationships, the mystery around not only the death of the other student, but also the interworkings of the Greek and secret societies. Yeah, there was a lot of intrigue, a lot of good, messy plot, that in a good way, like it's supposed to be messy plot, because it's a messy time in life and there's a lot of stuff going on. So highly recommend. Like I said, I was able to get the audiobook on Hoopla if your library may have it. And I will be looking into the other works by Sherry Joseph. So that does it. That was my 3rd episode of Reboot My Reading Year for 2025, because it wasn't a great reading year for me, but we ended on a high note. And I'm very thankful that I randomly saw this when I went to a bookstore, local indie bookstore, for the indie bookshop crawl. Got this, and then when I was doing the random TBR for this vlog, I saw it. They were, one of the bookstores was having an event with this author, and so I decided to pick it for the vlog. So all that came together and worked out really well for me. Sandwich, I saw that one of my friends had started reading it on GoodReads, I think, and that's why I put this one on my TBR. And my friend Melinda said that she enjoyed Awake as well. So yeah, my reading year ended on a high note, which is awesome. And this is the last reading vlog for 2025, but there will be plenty in 2026. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these, or what your best book, or any 5-star read you had in 2025. Because if I have it on my TBR, I may add it to a vlog in the future. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you all are doing well. I will see you soon. Bye.